What's good, everybody? It's the shot callers coming at y'all, man. We we got a crazy, crazy day for y'all today. Unfortunately, we don't have Richard with us. He's out for his monthly things he has to do for his other podcast, But like I said, we got a crazy day in the NBA. Trade deadlines going on. We got some good games. The first one was a good game. The second one started out as a mid game, but it turned into a little something. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop right into it. It's me, Kyle. This is your boy Robin Shada. Go ahead and say what's up.
What's up, guys? Missed y'all last week, but I'm back now.
Yeah, yes sir. I missed them too. I missed them too. You can't go wrong. Uh, obviously, go ahead and hit us up on our Twitter and Instagram at Shot Caller Show at Shot Caller Show, not the Shot Caller Show. You'll be able to find our YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us and hit the notification bell. I know I get a lot of questions asked like, oh, when are y'all uploading the show? When did y'all post a new episode? Go ahead and hit that notification bell. Make sure y'all hit that up so y'all get notified and know when we upload. So we're also on a whole bunch of different podcasts like Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Everywhere you can find podcasts, we're on there. So now that we got that all that out the way, Robin, you want to go ahead and give us a recap with the first game, Portland versus Miami?
Yeah, so Portland visiting Miami. Jimmy Butler, I think, had a stomach issue. We did not account for that on our picks, so that messed up you and
Yeah,
Rich. I didn't care. I
yeah.
was gonna go Dollar Dame's route, but
hmm
started off CJ on fire. I mean, this was the first game that he started off where he actually looked like the CJ before he got hurt. Man was crossing over, Duncan Robinson, shooting threes.
Yep.
It was literally going to be him against Bam because Bam was everywhere on the court in that first quarter. I feel like Bam was keeping Miami afloat without Jimmy
hmm
Butler, without obviously they traded Kelly Olynyk, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Um, and then it was really him against Duncan Robinson. He was 4 for 6 in threes, but he was getting on fire real quick. But Kendrick Nunn stepped up. He got them buckets in
Yeah.
the first quarter, in the first half. Dame struggled, but it was pretty neck and neck. I think Portland built a quick lead in the first half, and then
Yeah.
Miami kind of fought back, and then Miami built a quick lead in the third quarter, and then I think they were up 10, and CJ and Dame just took back over. Canner had a couple good and one finishes, 3-point
Yeah.
plays, and then Dame again got fouled, shooting a three-pointer with a couple seconds left, just like last week against New Orleans, and he sank all three free throws, and they won
hmm
125, 122. Just to give you
Uh,
a couple box scores real quick,
mhm.
just so we get it. CJ had 35 points. He had 29 of those in the first half. So kind of cooled
That
down a
boy
little
hot.
bit. But I'm telling you, man, people want to say Devin Booker's an underrated shooting guard, but CJ's right up there with him. CJ is a bucket. Dame had 22, but he shot 2 for 8. I think he is like 5 for 35 in his last
hmm
35 3-point attempts. On the Heat side, Bam had 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists with 5 blocks. And then Kendrick Nunn had 22. Tyler Hill had 29. So pretty even on both sides as far as performance. But what did
Yeah,
you
for
take
sure.
away for? I guess we'll start with Portland because they won the game.
Obviously, CJ going off like that was probably the biggest takeaway, uh, for obvious reasons, but this has bigger implications going forward, taking a lot of pressure off of Dame. Like, you were saying earlier, Dame has been struggling these past couple of games. There was talks about he has a bruised left knee and he's been playing through pain and all that kind of stuff. So we could chop it up, yeah, chalk it up to that. Uh, I believe he probably needs a rest game, but the way that CJ is able to take over, it takes a lot of pressure off Dame.
Oh,
And even though like Dame didn't have the best game tonight, he still showed up like when it mattered down in the second half. He was in the first half he wasn't scoring very much, but he was facilitating. He had a lot of assists. I think he had like 6 assists in the first half, something like that. But he was facilitating, especially when Portland is dead last in the league and assists and points off assists and things like that. So it was really important for them. Uh, even though like he wasn't scoring, he still had huge impact on the game, especially down the stretch. And Lillard, he kind of messed up our picks too. Like Miami was -2, and if he missed just one free throw, I mean they still would have won, but our picks would have been
Messed
right.
up
But
y'all's picks. I
uh,
chose right.
uh, I guess you know, like you said, if I knew Jimmy Butler would have been out, I would have went with
Hey, I
Portland.
was 2 for 0 tonight. I was 2 for 0
I,
tonight.
I mean, but however, at the same time, like Miami put up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like once I heard Jimmy Butler was out, I kind of doubted them a lot. But once I saw that game and watched the whole way through, they were fighting. Uh, you got anything to add on to that?
As far as the Portland side, I'm gonna give a shout out to Enes Kanter. So obviously we talk about CJ, we talk about Dame, and you're going to because I think they're the best backcourt in the NBA right now. As far as like consistently being healthy, being available. I know CJ, this is his third time he's fractured his, I guess that same foot, but it never seems like he misses like more than a month or two. I
Mm-hmm.
just think they're the ones that like if one of them don't have it going, the other one has it going. And then when they both have it
Mm-hmm.
going, it's night over. But Enes Kanter had
Okay, yeah.
18 points and 16 rebounds. And I think he had two clutch and ones in the fourth quarter that kind of cut that 10-point game or that 10-point lead that Miami built. I think that was really important for them, and he led the team with a plus 21. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously he's not gonna get a lot of shout out. He's especially with Nurkic coming back, but I think Enes Kanter stepped up big. Obviously Carmelo, 20 points. I mean, have a
Mm-hmm.
six man like Carmelo is something that's gonna give him
That's a cheat
dividends.
code for real.
Yeah, for real. And then Dame, it's just even when he is struggling, he's gonna take that last shot. The defender's gonna react like it's Damian Lillard. He's hit these in his sleep in the playoffs, game sevens. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
for you to contest him and foul him, it's kind of like you're giving him the cheap way out. But at the same time, he's probably gonna hit that.
Yeah, it was a little anticlimactic, but it did look like a foul. I mean, normally refs would like swallow the whistle that late in the game, but oh well, things happen.
The fact that it was the second time this like he got fouled on a 3-point attempt with a couple seconds left in about a week is something that like you gotta make him shoot. You can't foul him. That's
Yeah.
like giving him the easy exit. Like he's one of the best free throw shooters in the game. You know he's gonna make
Hmm.
at least two of them. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just taking a cheap way out. But Portland, good win for them, especially trying to catch up to LA in the third spot. As far as Miami, what were your takeaways for them?
Real quick, back about Portland, like Enes Kanter, he's like like literally the one of the most annoying dudes, especially on the offensive glass. Like he's always in there, like he's hitting dudes, like he's not borderline knocking dudes over and stuff. He's always in your face, like getting those offensive boards. In the first half, he had a really quiet first half, but in the like you said, down the stretch in the fourth quarter, like he was there on the boards and putting him back in and making Miami pay. Uh, but yeah, like you said, moving on to Miami, uh, you know, I didn't have them that high hopes for Miami, but they put up a hell of a fight. Bam, as in that first half, he was doing everything. Like they were doing, their classic screen and roll handoffs, like off of the high post. That he was getting lobs, easy buckets for him, and then he was also doing it on defense too. He had a couple of highlight blocks like on Dame and like
Yeah.
start out the game, like borderline catching it out there and stuff like that. So he had a great game. Well, one of the guys I was looking out for was Hero. He started out the game like in my opinion like pretty slow, but he got it going like in that third quarter. Like he hit the third quarter buzzer beater, I believe, like to end the third quarter, and then that's how I knew he was hot. But the thing about him is like I want him hot like even when Jimmy Butler's out there. And he showed it in the bubble last year, but throughout this season like he hasn't been hitting the same. So if he can keep up this type of performance, I expect to see or good things out of Miami.
Yeah, and that's what even Eric Spoelstra was saying was he needs Hero to be
Mm,
like consistently like that because
yeah.
everybody can
Mm,
have of his caliber can have a 30-point game. I think he had a 37 in the bubble that kind of made
mm,
him pop up
yeah.
on everyone's radar. But
Hmm.
To do that every night, it's kind of like something we talked about Chris Middleton the 2 times we covered their games.
Yeah.
To do it night
Hmm.
in and night out is different than doing it once a week or once a game in the playoff series. But for sure, I think Hero stepped up big. But Bam, man, that dude was everywhere.
Hmm.
One of the best defenders in the league right now, if not the best.
Hmm.
Um, Dude was everywhere. And I mean, just controlling the paint, even though he's a little undersized compared to Canner, they had
Yeah.
16 more points in the paint. It was 52 to 36. I think that,
Hmm.
I mean, to control the paint without Jimmy Butler, who you know is going to get to the free throw line because he goes to the paint because he does not care about
Hmm.
contact.
Yeah.
To still kill somebody who has their starting center is a good thing to have, especially when you have Bam in there.
Hmm.
But Kendrick Nunn was stepped up. He kind of played like last year before the bubble when he was second in Rookie of the Year voting, I believe. He
Hmm.
was keeping them afloat, shooting 9 for 13. Duncan Robinson did his thing. Obviously, Hero, we were talking about him, but I think they all did their things. They just didn't
Yeah.
have, obviously, Dragic. They didn't have Butler, Oladipo whenever he starts with them.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, it's kind of like some teams when you rest players and it's a close game. It's like you only have so much firepower, and I feel like it caught up to
Hmm.
them. Uh, but they are a team that is going to be scary to play in the playoffs if they make it there,
Hmm.
which I believe they will. I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Absolutely.
they're going to be a lower seed, so it's going to be crazy if like the Sixers or the Nets or the Bucks have to play them in the first round because it's not an easy first round.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I was gonna say shout out to Trevor Ariza. Like when I saw him out there, especially in the first half, like he was doing good things for Miami, especially on defense. Like he had a couple of steals and blocks and good defensive plays. So uh he could be a really huge pickup for for not much they gave up for him. Uh, so I think he could be a critical piece down when it comes to playoff time. And then obviously now they got Victor Oladipo, and they didn't give up that much for him either. Like when you were hearing about trade rumors involving Miami, the other teams were always rumored to say like, "Oh, we want Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero," but they were able to get Oladipo without giving up either of them.
Yeah,
So. If they gave up like Tyler Hero for Oladipo, that I would say that's probably an even trade. Like that's probably okay.
still got Kendrick
Uh,
Nunn.
yeah, yeah, you still got Kendrick Nunn, and if they gave up uh Robinson, I would have been a bit more iffy on that trade just because like he's just so lethal of a shooter. Like you kind of need that on your team. But back to Tyler Hero, he like I'm pretty sure we've said this on the show before, and it's been said before too, but he just needs to to really improve his playmaking. He needs to be a better passer. Like
Yeah,
there's times especially during this game, like he would be driving or he would get doubled because Portland started doing that started the second half and things like that. They started doubling him, and uh he would get into the paint sometimes, and then he wouldn't have anywhere to go, and then so he needs to be able to find that guy when he drives more often, and he just needs to make a better decision. And that'll come with experience, especially when you're playing with guys like Goran Dragic and Jimmy Butler, who are really really good at making those outlet passes, especially when they get in the paint.
yeah, I think he'll develop, but you got to remember, I think he's still like what, 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
I think he just turned 21, but he's young, you know.
Mm,
People always say, "Oh, he's undersized or he's really weak, like he needs to add muscle."
yeah,
But
skin.
I mean, Steph Curry, like we look at him now, we're like, "Oh, he's an amazing player," but his first couple
Yeah,
seasons, nobody was even
yeah.
talking about him.
Mm,
So I think you'll get it, and that's something that I think a lot of young players who have that skill, it's more developing your IQ in the next level. So
yeah,
when
yeah,
should I take over? Letting the game come to you while taking over is kind of tough. So you make sure your
yeah.
teammates get involved, but you make sure that
Mm.
you're kind of controlling the team. And shout out to Trevor Ariza, he actually tied a record today. Do you know what that record is?
No, I missed it. What was it?
He officially tied the record for playing with the most NBA teams.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's at
I heard of that
12
one.
or 13, and he's
I,
gotten traded 11 times.
yeah, yeah.
And
I thought you were talking about like points or blocks or
no,
steals or
this is something even
some
better.
shit.
This is
I
a
was like,
this is a record that he is number one at. He's not going to be
yeah,
number one
yeah,
in
yeah,
points. He's not that good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
11 trades, man. And I feel like every time he's gotten
Yeah,
traded, people are like, "Oh, he's a good pickup. Like we needed him."
yeah,
He's
yeah.
never a bad sign. Like, "Oh,
Yeah,
we got
yeah,
him again."
yeah,
But yeah, no, yeah. So I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, he did break a
yeah.
he definitely broke a
Yeah,
record.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, he did. But
Um,
yeah, he's definitely like a sleeper pick, like coming down the road. Like I think it'll be huge.
and then quick little stat, real quick. Vincent, the starting point guard, Gabe Vincent. I don't know if you heard of him before the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
actually had 9 assists today, so I just wanted to shout him out
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick. Probably never shout him
Hmm.
out again because when they're gay healthy, I doubt he sees the floor.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
but 9 assists. That's
Yeah,
not bad. It's not shabby.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's the thing about the Miami offense too. I was seeing a lot of assists, a lot of lobs, like especially for Precious Chua. He had some good minutes out there. He
Yeah,
also had some like like bad mistakes, but
yeah,
it's just it just stems from him like not being able to handle the ball. Like there's one time, well there were times like either on the fast break or he'll be going downhill, but he's not like he already has the ball, so he just needs like to take like one or two dribbles and then finish. There was one time on the fast break, like he took a dribble and like he tried to go around a player. I think it was CJ who was about to take the charge, and he like almost rolled his own ankle and stuff, and he ended up turning the ball over, I think. Uh, and then, but yeah, there's just times like that where he just needs to like work on his footwork a little bit and his ball handling skills, especially in the painted area. And I think his game will go up. And then obviously he has Bam right next to him, so he'll be able to learn and take tips from him. He's obviously very young, so there's obviously potential with him. He's great on defense.
yeah.
But just little tweaks and improvements he could make on offense could make him that much better.
Yeah, he's definitely a raw talent, something you can work with. I think
Yeah,
those are the best
yeah,
pieces to have because coming in, Kawhi had no offense.
yeah.
Nobody heard of Bam. I mean, obviously, if you're a big college person, he went to Kentucky, so you probably heard of him.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
um, he's definitely someone that you can work with somebody that's athletic. Now, if he's super slow but can shoot, it's kind of limited, but you can learn to shoot. Probably won't be the best shooter, but if you can jump high, run fast, and you're strong, and
Hmm.
you have that effort, he can definitely improve on that. Kind of reminds me of a Harold because every time he's in there, he's running around everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that was a good thing. And then also, real quick, one more thing I had to add for Portland, I forgot, but
Hmm.
Anthony Simmons, that's his name, right? Anthony
Si Anthony Simons.
Simons. So that
Yeah.
guy, he's gonna have to step up big now since they traded Gary Trent. He's like that
Yeah.
that backup guard now. Is obviously him and
Hmm.
Carmelo gonna be coming off the bench all the time, but he
They,
stepped up big today.
yeah, I thought he had some good minutes, but I mean they picked up Norman Powell. Uh, I thought it was kind of weird that they gave up Gary Trent Jr. I felt he was a pretty good piece, and I feel like uh, giving up him for Norman Powell is pretty like an even trade, but at the same time, like you already have chemistry and a lot of things like that with Gary Trent Jr. already, so you're risking messing that up a little bit in the locker room by trading him and Rodney Hood away. And I feel like the chemistry is pretty important for both of these teams. Like, I'm worried, like, if Miami traded away Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero, that their chemistry could mess up and things like that. But well, we'll just have to see down the road. Well, one thing I wish uh, the Trailblazers did pick up was a passing big man. Like, because one of the things that Enes Kanter cannot do is
Well,
pass.
they're
Like
getting
he
Nurkic
cannot.
back. I think he's supposed
Yeah,
to play the
that
next game.
yeah. Nurkic is supposed to play the next game against Orlando. So he's a better passing big man, but I feel like they need a guy kind of like a Marc Gasol or I mean, obviously, there's Jokic, but you can't, Jokic is a unicorn. You can't really get one of them. But just like a big guy with a better eye, like even better than Nurkic, like he'll help him out in that area, but he also has to stay healthy too, which he's ne like it feels like he's never been able to stay healthy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But we'll cover
uh,
that a little bit later on our trade part of the
yeah,
show. We could talk all
yeah,
the day about the trades. It was a crazy day
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Um, anything else you wanted to add from this first game though, before we move
Nah,
on?
other than Ennis Canner can't pass, 'cause there was one time like uh Damian cut to the basket and he was open for like 3 seconds and Ennis Canner had the ball at like the top of the key or like on the wing and he was like looking at Damian Lillard and then he threw it like after the 3 seconds had passed, but it like hit the rim. Like it wasn't even an accurate pass to him. So it's
Right.
just like they pointed out during the broadcast too. I was like, bro,
Yeah, I
like
saw that and it hit the
really
rim.
that yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah.
Yeah, you say he can't pass, but he had one assist, so I beg to defer. All right, yeah. Moving on. Oh wait, who's your
Yeah.
MVP from either team that you think, whatever?
Uh, from this one, I mean, I would say my MVP probably Bam Adebayo.
Okay.
Uh, he was he was pretty consistent throughout the whole game. Like, CJ started out hot. Uh, Tyler Hero ended hot. Uh, but Bam Adebayo, he was making a big difference on both ends of the floor throughout the entire game. So I'll call him my MVP.
Cool. I would probably have to go CJ. Obviously, not just because that's
Hmm.
scoring point, but he also had 8 dimes. But I
Hmm.
think to come back from an injury, obviously with
Yeah.
no off season or limited off season, no, it was no off season, no
Yeah.
training camp, no preseason,
Hmm.
and they did
Yeah.
play in the bubble, so they had less time. But
Hmm.
and to get injured when you're averaging 26 a game, and then to get your legs back under you, and then to get your
Yeah.
stroke back, for
Yeah.
him to get that, this can be like the start of a switch to where he goes back to that level he was at before.
Yeah.
It only takes one game
Yeah.
for these scores nowadays to get going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but the thing with both of these teams though, like I love both of these teams. Like both of these teams got like saucy ass players. Like CJ is saucy as
Oh
fuck.
God.
Dame he's clean. Like shooting it from deep, splash like every day. Like Bam, that boy clean. Tyler Hero, he got that swag to him. And
Tyler
then
Hero does have swag. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
has swag.
And so does Jimmy Butler. So these are two of my
Yeah.
favorite teams like to watch. They got some of my favorite players. They can
No,
create
yeah.
offense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They got that style to them that I vibe with.
I
So
like I like Miami because they're tough, but I like Portland because
yeah,
their backcourt is probably my favorite backcourt. I've been a Dame
yeah,
fan
yeah,
since his rookie season, but
hmm,
good game though, for sure a good game.
yeah,
Going into our
yeah,
second game, we were like,
hmm,
man, what could have been? We had the Sixers visiting the Lakers.
uh-huh,
Sixers obviously without Embiid, Lakers without LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So most people probably turn the TV off. So this is why we're gonna talk about the game for you guys. Um,
yeah,
it started off pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, the
yeah,
Sixers they were
yeah,
getting going, and the Lakers it was pretty neck and neck. Obviously, if y'all did watch the game, you would see that Montrezl Harrell and Dwight Howard had a little circus game going, or that's what Doc Rivers said. They were clowns. They were kind of
yeah,
just. I kind of liked it though. I liked how they were going back and forth.
yeah,
You
yeah,
want them guys to get competitive
hmm,
with no fans. You're gonna
hmm,
hear that chatter. But I
hmm.
guess Harrell was walking back to the bench, and then
His
Dwight
bench, yeah,
Howard. I understand why they ejected him because his like he had to go this way, and he kind of took the long way
hmm,
to bump into him.
yeah,
Got
yeah, yeah,
ejected.
yeah,
Uh, Philly was up three, already without their starting center and beat out. Their backup center gets ejected. But other than that, it was really just a neck and neck game. And I think in that third quarter, the Lakers finally realized they didn't have enough firepower to compete. Seth Curry, Danny Green were going crazy from three. Ben Simmons, I think,
That's
had
funny.
what?
Danny Green was lighting them up, bruh.
Oh,
That's
don't get
that
me started.
he
I'm
wa-
a big Danny Green hate club. I'm the president of that club. You don't have to start that with me.
he
You don't. I don't even want to talk. Let's just skip the game. I don't want to talk. I don't want to give no praise to Danny Green. But no, he was on it today. Him, Seth Curry,
Mm,
Ben Simmons had 11 assists. I think at that point he
yeah.
didn't score all that much, but
Mm-mm.
he is one of those veteran type point guards like Chris Paul to where they can have 4 points, but they can control the game. And
Mm,
he did that, and then eventually the fourth quarter, the Lakers actually made a little push. I believe they went on like a 16-5 run. They're one of the best
yeah.
fourth quarter teams. But in the end, Harrell got on fire. I think he had like 14 points in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter.
At the yeah, at
Had
the
my
end.
fantasy team
Yeah.
looking good, and and then and then Tobias Harris had a little fadeaway jumper, and then Danny
Yeah.
Green. I think they were down three, pass to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
corner, and when I mean catch and shoot, this guy caught and shot it with the hand in his
Wh-
face.
Yeah, Kyle Kuzma was right there. Like, yeah, like the way Danny Green even shot it, like it didn't even feel like a catch and shoot to me. He like caught it and then like pulled it up right in his face. Like Kyle
And
Kuzma was right there the whole time. Boy, it did not matter. That is splashed
And
right
I feel
through. Like,
like the shot was weird because
man,
usually he rises up like this, but I feel like he went to the left. He went around
yeah.
Kuzma and went up.
Mm,
It felt like
mm,
I felt like he forced it, and then when he made
mm.
it, I feel like okay, never mind. He probably meant to do that. Um, but that was the game. We'll start with the winners again. So what's your biggest takeaways from the 76ers?
Well, one of their biggest questions is their three-point shooting. They got Seth Curry back tonight. He was out for a little while, and I believe the 76ers are on the lower end of the entire league in three-point shooting. Uh, so when they were able to get Danny Green and Seth Curry and guys like that hot from three, that just makes a tough team even tougher to beat. Uh, it's just kind of another question to see if Danny Green and Seth Curry can do it consistently. I mean, I'm sure Seth Curry can, but Danny Green, that's more of a question. We've seen ups and downs from Danny Green, back in the Lakers, but he was looking like Spurs Danny Green
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah,
Yeah, he was splashing them. He was getting them wide open looks from Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili out there. So. But yeah, other than that, I guess in the fourth quarter, it kind of like I don't know if you noticed, but they had Schroeder on Ben Simmons like late in the fourth quarter, and I kind of questioned that. I was like, oh, that's a mismatch. Ben Simmons should be attacking that, but as I thought about it, it kind of made more sense to me. Like it's okay to let to have a smaller guy on Ben Simmons late in the clock like that because you're not worried about really him scoring. Because like if he's gonna score, it's more than likely gonna be on a drive to the
yeah,
basket, and on an ISO like that, more than likely you're gonna get some help defense. And all it depends on is if the right guy on defense rotates over,
yeah.
because obviously you know that's the thing about Ben Simmons tonight. Like he didn't score, but he was facilitating like crazy. Like there's a stat like midway through the fourth, like he had contributed to like 41 points or something, and he only scored like seven. Uh, so as long as the right guy rotates over and he can't make that easy pass to kick out, uh, then it makes a lot of sense, and it really, you know, is this going to become a problem later on in the playoffs, like that he can't score, especially in crunch time. You're gonna have to go to guys like Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. I mean, but if you're allowing to have a smaller guy like Dennis Schroeder on Ben Simmons, and you're not worried about him scoring like that, well, we'll see if that's an issue later on.
Yeah, I think Ben Simmons gets too much hate for the lack of scoring and the shooting.
You probably right. You probably right.
Because I
I
think
be
he
hating about him
controlled
too
the game
much.
perfectly fine today.
Mm,
Obviously, without their best player and an MVP favorite-ish with him and
mm,
LeBron. Um, I mean, 9 points, yeah, I would like to see him have more because he is the alpha dog right now. But still, 12 assists, 7 boards, controlling the game. I mean, he went to the free throw 11 times,
Hmm.
made 7 of them, meaning he's still being somewhat aggressive getting to the line. But he did have 7 turnovers, which can't fly. I guess, because the ball is in his hands every play. He needs to be a little bit safer with that. But no, Seth Curry, Danny Green combined 12 for 20 from three.
That's
I don't want
tough.
to give Danny Green props, but he went 8 for 12 today, so I gotta do it. He was
He was
on fire, pulling up from
he was
three.
yeah. He was hitting mean ones too. Like it's not
Yeah,
just like all of them were wide open. Like especially like later in the game, like they were right in his face, and he was still making them. I was like, bruh.
that's what I'm. I think he got fouled, but he had a little crossover with the layup, but it didn't count. And I was like, okay, this is not Danny Green. This is somebody else. He doesn't dribble the ball more than two
Yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah. Who is this guy?
Yeah, but Danny Green had 28, Seth Curry had 19, Tobias Harris 8 for 10, 17 points, 6 boards, 5 assists. He needs to step up if they want to take that next jump, though. They got Simmons. You know
To
what he's gonna do. Embiid, you know what
Tobias
he's
Harris
gonna
needs to
do.
step up.
Yes, because Curry and Green are the shooters. You know Embiid, you know Simmons, but Harris is that guy to where he can't just be that third role player. He needs to be the third star. Anybody
Hmm.
can be a third role player, but he needs to be a little. I mean, today was a perfect example. He doesn't need to score 25, 30, just a safe 17, but be involved and stay consistently involved. Don't leave the game the second or third quarter and try to come back in the fourth quarter. If you just get your touches here and there, it's easier for you to stay warm because you're probably not gonna get
Yeah.
the ball a lot with Simmons and Embiid on your team.
Hmm.
Dwight Howard, stop being a clown. Like, I don't know what else to say.
I I mean I was getting excited honestly. I was seeing that in the first quarter. I was like oh this finna get chippy like Montrez Montrez you know he'll be the first one to say he's like oh I ain't no bitch so yeah he'll step up to a fight. Uh and
Yeah,
Dwight Howard's trying to pick that fight. So I was looking forward to it a little bit, but then the ref shut it down real
real
quick.
quick, shut it
Yeah,
down, man. And
yeah, yeah.
But my thing is like I get it. Like do whatever you want to do, but do it during the game, like through basketball terms. Don't do it when you're walking to the bench after the first quarter where you you intentionally go the long way to your bench so you go right in front of him, you bump into him. There's no point for that. Let him go to his bench, you go to
Yeah.
your bench, and then you knock his ass down on the court, not on the way
Mm.
to the bench. That's not
Mm.
they wouldn't do that in the 80s. They wouldn't do that in the 90s. They won't do that now. Like do it on the court during the game. Don't do it after
Yeah.
in between, like during timeouts. You don't do that. That's you're not doing nothing there.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, Dwight Howard. I mean, because you got to be available. You
Mm.
have to be available. But I still don't know if that 76ers bench is still deep enough for a
Yeah.
playoff run. I mean, other than Howard on the bench, obviously you got what's his name, Milton. And
Yeah.
then,
Shake Milton.
yeah, he was doing pretty good today. He had a solid 12 points off the bench. And then you had Korkmaz. His name is so fun to say to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Korkmaz. Yeah.
He makes
I was worried you weren't gonna be able to pronounce it.
Korkmaz, man. Say how you just like that other guy, Louis Cabarro.
Lu- Yeah, Cabarro. There you go. You said it. You said it right that time.
Cabarro. I drink wine. It's you know what it is.
Yeah.
But no, he made a 3-pointer that I was like, why are you shooting that?
Oh yeah. It was the end of the third quarter, I think.
Yeah,
Again, like, dude was right in his face. He already stopped his dribble too, and he just had to force it up before the buzzer, and he splashed out. He didn't even believe in himself. He was like,
quick.
oh,
Yeah, that
like
was
he
a
took out his mouthpiece. He was like, ah, damn
quick splash,
that was tough.
man.
I probably shouldn't have made that.
But I think just that bench, I don't think it's deep enough. And then at the same time, they're 3-point shooters. They have two of them. Other than those two, who else is gonna give you some 3-point shots? I don't really see anybody that can knock down three, four a night. I know Danny
Mm.
Green probably can give you three, maybe out of like 10 attempts. Seth Curry, yes, he's gonna give you about three, four. But other than that, who's gonna shoot the ball for you? I just there's a lot of question marks still to be. Obviously, Doc Rivers is gonna do something. He's a genius when it comes to getting everybody involved the right way. Um, but I think that Ben Simmons hate needs to stop. I like Ben Simmons. I don't care if he scores 5 points. I don't care if he scores 55 points. If you control the game, you control the game. So many people have Chris Paul as an All-Star this year. Some people have him in the MVP. I don't know if you saw that thing with
Yeah,
Reggie
Reggie
Miller.
Miller.
Yeah,
I know he out of
yeah,
pocket, bro.
but I get it why, because the Suns take a major jump
Yeah,
with Chris Paul because
yeah.
he knows how to
Hmm.
control the game. That's what the true point guards do is they control the game. Sometimes they'll make you run on fast breaks, sometimes they'll slow it down. They kind of know how what you're thinking if you're tired, if you're
Hmm.
fatigued. Uh, Especially with Ben Simmons, or especially with Chris Paul, if you're on defense and you barely play, he knows you probably don't know the plays. So he's gonna
Hmm.
attack you. It's just like a quarterback. Like the you win the game because of a quarterback because they can know how to read the defense and they know how to attack you. That's what Ben Simmons needs to do. That may sometimes he
Yeah,
doesn't need to score 50 points, but
yeah.
sometimes he does need to score more. And I think this stretch without Joel Embiid, he's gonna have to at least put up 10 points, like 10. The dude had 9 points today. Come on,
Mm,
man.
mm. Uh, I I mean you're probably right. Like I'm probably a little bit of I've been drinking a little bit of haterade when it comes to Ben Simmons. Uh, so every time I watch him too, like he kind of shows me up. So I'm like, maybe I'll lighten up on the dude. I ain't gotta be that tough on him. I know me and JV, like I said, follow us on Twitter at Shot Caller Show. Me and JV on Twitter, sharing our opinions on Ben Simmons. Uh, JV had a really good point. Obviously one of the OGs of the show, him and Andre. Richard needs a plaque behind him. OG Rich and JV, or Andre Rich and JV, I mean, uh, OGs of the show. But he said that Ben Simmons is overrated. He agreed with the take that Ben Simmons is overrated because he's unable to shoot and how critical it is to be able to shoot the ball in today's game. Uh, and I kind of agreed with him because I mean you were saying that Tobias Harris kind of had a rough game today. I mean he
No, he had a
did,
good
but
game
like these
today.
past he had a solid game, but these past couple of games like he's been lighting it up.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so this was kind of a little step down for him, but he still played well and I guess people were saying like Ben Simmons is taking away from what Tobias Harris is doing in a way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tobias Harris played 40 minutes, had 10 field goals. He made 8 of them, so he was really efficient.
Mm, mm,
Today, 6 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, 3 fouls. But overall, plus two, plus minus. I think he was good. I think for him to play 40 minutes, so he only sat out 8 minutes, but to only have 10 shots, um, he's their best scorer at the moment, no doubt. But if you're the
yeah.
best scorer, you're not gonna want to take just 10 shots. I think he
Hmm.
had as many shots as Shea Milton.
Hmm.
So that should obviously be telling us something. He should be more aggressive.
Hmm.
And as far as Ben Simmons, it'd be different if he was a really good playmaker, a somewhat good scorer, and horrible at defense or average at defense. But Ben Simmons' defense is one of the best defenders in the league right now, actually. He can guard your point
Yeah, yeah,
guard,
for
your
sure.
shooting guard, your small forward, your power forward. So he can switch, which is really good. So he's not a liability on defense. He's not a
Hmm.
liability on offense if the ball's in his hands. It's when
Yeah.
Tobias Harris has the ball or when Joel Embiid has the ball where people can sag off Simmons like crazy.
Hmm.
That's when he's gonna have to improve that because if he's a liability, the ball's not always gonna be in his hand, so he needs to improve that shooting. Or else people are gonna double team Embiid, double team Harris, and they're gonna kick it out Simmons, and he's just gonna reset the play
Hmm.
instead of attacking or shooting or whatever it is. So there's a lot to be said, but again, he's still young. You can figure it out. Giannis didn't figure it out in 2 seasons, 3 seasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Simmons is only 24,
Still,
so we keep thinking that they need to start improving right away, but in reality, he still has about 10 more years to play.
hmm. Yeah, that's the thing too. We're a little too critical on these young players like Ben Simmons, like in the last game, Tyler Hero, even Luka Doncic. He's getting compared to great players and stuff, but they still have so much time and they have plenty of time to develop at the same time. So we need to be like a little bit less harsh on these
We,
guys.
you,
But
You're the one that just bashing this
Okay, all
guy.
right, me, me,
You
and the
bashed
media at
Tyler
times.
Hero. You just bashed Ben
No, I
Simmons,
didn't bash
and then you
Tyler
want to
Hero.
say
I
we.
like Tyler
You don't
Hero.
want to say we. I didn't bash these young guys. I'm bashing Danny
Okay, all right.
Green.
I meant we as like people that
You
are
as
fans of
haters.
basketball. Okay, okay,
I
all right.
bashed one person on this show, and his name is Danny Green.
The- Anyways, let's talk about the Lakers
Lakers,
because
yeah.
I'm surprised we talked about the 76ers that long. I thought I didn't have that much to say about them, but I guess we did. But yeah, let's talk about the Lakers really quick, just to get this out the way. Like with LeBron out, LeBron and AD out, I expected the Lakers defense to hold up, pretty solid. I mean they'll obviously miss the defensive playmaking that LeBron and AD have. But I believe this team is still pretty solid
Yeah.
defensively. They were number one, for a reason, not just because of LeBron and AD. Like as a team, they're great defensively. Uh, and then also Philadelphia is number two in defensive rating. But I without LeBron, I thought their offense was gonna fall off a cliff, and it kind of has. Their offense looks really, really tough. That's definitely their weak spot without LeBron. Uh, you look at guys like Kuzma and especially like Taylor Horton Tucker, like who even LeBron was hyping up before the season. Like they were like, oh, he's really good. He's cold. Like you better watch out for him. He's just been all right. Like he doesn't get that many minutes, but then at the same time when he's out there, like I I don't feel that he's impacting the game that much. But you you really should look at those two guys. I mean, Kyle Kuzma, he had a good game, down the stretch, but throughout the majority of the game, like I feel like he wasn't having too much impact. Montrezl Harrell, he was really struggling. Like, I mean, the team was just struggling to get him the ball, like in the first half. Like they were turning it over, like trying to throw it to him in the post. Uh, there was a couple times where he ended up getting it in the post, and like he would try to dump it off to a cutting teammate or a teammate he thought he was who was cutting, and ended up not cutting, and he just threw the ball away. Like there was one time like he was in the post, and uh uh KCP was trying to go around, or he thought KCP was finna go around him, but he went back out to the corner, but he dumped it off, and after he threw it away, he was like, "Keep going!" Like you heard that over the mic, but there's definitely like probably some chemistry issues going on, especially like mainly on offense. Dennis Schroeder was a bright spot, but what do you think?
I think Harold did good. I think 8 for 13, 20 points. But again, he had 6 points in the first three quarters. I think he let that Dwight Howard thing get to his head a little bit because he was kind of forcing the ball to him. When in reality, he's not a number one like option to go through.
Hmm.
But they played big. They had 10 more points in the paint. They both had over 20 turnovers, both teams, so they were really sloppy.
Hmm.
But 3-point shooting, I think that's their thing. When you had LeBron and you had Anthony Davis, you had two kind of guys who can get their own shots. They don't need to be set up. But
Hmm.
besides Dennis Schroeder, who just got back from injury, so I don't think he's fully like there yet. But obviously, he's not gonna make an excuse for himself. Um, Nobody else can create a shot on this team. Like nobody else.
Yeah,
Maybe Harrell,
yeah,
but nobody can
yeah.
get their own shot.
You don't think so?
Morris
I
can't.
mean,
I mean, Kuzma maybe, but Kuzma's he changes his hair more than he makes shots. Like he shot 21 shots today and had 25 points. That
yeah.
that that
Uh,
that does that's not adding up right there.
yeah. I mean, I would argue against that they do have guys that can create their own shot, like Dennis Schroeder can,
No, I so
Montrezl
Shooter
Harrell
can.
can. Yeah. You said
I said
them two,
Harold can in
Schroeder
the
and Harrell.
yeah in the post, but he's not somebody you want to go and feed the ball down 5 7 times a quarter. Most of his
Yeah.
points come from
Mm,
second chance or 50-50
yeah.
balls. He's an energy guy. You don't give the energy guy
Yeah.
the ball and say, "Hey, go drop 25 a night."
Mhm. I mean, I think Kuzma can create his own shot. I think Taylor Horton Tucker is probably one of those guys who can create their own shot. But like I said, like Kuzma's IQ is a bit off. He had four turnovers. Like there, and his turnovers are just like so like bad a lot of the time. They're just like real awkward like turnovers. Like really you were thinking that or like oh how did you end up doing that? You know what I mean? Like Schroeder had actually had 6 turnovers which led the Lakers, but I believe that's just 'cause like he was trying to get all his teammates involved and when you have a power vacuum that LeBron leaves behind, Schroeder's trying to fill that out uh, by getting his teammates involved. And like I said, there's miscommunications on offense. Like people should have been cutting or should have been in this spot, like on the wing or in the corner or whatever, and they just weren't there, and the ball ended up going out of bounds. So, uh, also you were talking about Montrezl Harrell, or the Dwight Howard thing getting Montrezl Harrell's thing or mind. I want to argue against you. I think the 76ers defense like got in his head. Like
Yeah,
they would not let him get the ball and like I feel like every time he got in the ball in the first like 3 quarters like he couldn't do nothing with it.
yeah,
Like
they swarmed him for sure, but you got to think in that
yeah.
first quarter when he was getting rattled, and even in the I think Dwight got ejected after the first quarter, but in that first quarter
Mm,
when he was kind of struggling a little bit, when he had that massive block by Dwight Howard, that was dirty. When Dwight
yeah,
sent
that
that back,
was dirty.
I think he was like I remember once I think it was THT trying to feed the ball to him, and he was kind of
Yeah.
covered and it went way over his head and he got mad. He was like lower, lower, and you don't ever see him like that though. He's not somebody that
Mm,
asks for the ball. Like the ball's,
yeah.
if the place for him, he'll be obviously he's gonna take the shot. But I think that was kind of getting. I mean, it's because when you have somebody on the other team that was there last year and won a chip, leaves, and then now you kind of take his spot. You want to like tell everybody like, look, I'm better than him. We upgraded. So I think also
Mm.
that was on the back of his mind because
Oh
it is
yeah,
Dwight
that's true.
Howard and he did play for them last year.
And,
So
and they both got their rings tonight too, him and
yeah,
Danny Green.
yeah. So I think that was a little chip on Harrell's shoulder, but Kuz Kuzma is just another guy to me. I think he has so much hype for no reason. Um, just a tall guy with tattoos, changes his hair. Some of his hair is nice, some of it's not. I I don't think that he can carry this team, but I think the way this team is going to win is just ball movement and defense. Their defense actually was really good. Besides the third quarter, when they allowed 35 points, they were not bad on defense today. I mean, without LeBron and Anthony Davis, who is a freak on defense, not bad at all. I think defense and just moving the ball because their 3-point shots was not good. They were 9 for 26
Yeah, yeah, not hitting.
and Philly was 17 for 45. So yeah, the percentages were almost there, but in reality, that's 8 more 3-pointers right there. They're
Yeah.
probably not gonna shoot 9 for 26 every night. They gotta start getting that ball moving. It can't just be shooter
Mm.
dribbling for 18 seconds trying to get somebody open. Um,
Uh,
today, like today.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing with them shooting so bad from 3-point land, like, is partially because of LeBron. LeBron has that gravity, like
Yeah.
everybody's focused on him in the paint and stuff. So he creates those wide open 3-point shots, and they weren't really getting them tonight, because LeBron's not out there. He doesn't have that gravity. People can stick to their man a little bit more, and obviously the 76ers are a great defensive squad. So uh,
Um.
they're smart and they know how to position themselves. But this time period without LeBron and AD, I feel is pretty important for the Lakers. Like they can get Kuzma to step up more consistently without LeBron having to create all his shots or and stuff. Same thing with like Schroeder and Taylor Horton Tucker. I guess probably Caruso a little bit, needs to get a little bit more involved, and needs to get more shots up and not just like be only there for defense and a glue guy pretty much. Uh, if they're able to learn from this and when they get AD back, because I'm assuming they'll get AD back before they get LeBron back.
Yeah.
If they're able to work things out, then obviously they'll be an even bigger threat
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it comes playoff time.
Yeah. Typically when it's like a top contender, Lakers are obviously probably. I mean, not title favorites, but they're definitely in the discussion of being title favorites. When you have your big player go
W-
down, or
Do
even your two starting lineup, like your two stars down, It's a great opportunity to get everybody involved, kind of like how Golden State this year. Obviously, they're going to get some people back next year, but all the players that are playing massive minutes this season are going to be they're going to have more experience under their belt for next season. So, this Lakers team playing right now, besides obviously like Kuz and Harrell and Schroeder and Gasol, who's kind of getting back into rhythm after being out for COVID
Hmm.
protocols, they're getting minutes. So in the playoffs, when they come in, they have that experience, they have that chemistry.
Hmm.
Because most of the people that are playing right now are going to be playing together in the playoffs because they're going to come off the bench together. So definitely a
Hmm.
good opportunity for them to do all that. Kuzma can definitely. I don't think he just needs to be that third guy. I think he just needs to be consistent. Because sometimes he
Yeah.
performs like a third guy, sometimes he performs like a role player. Even if he's like he doesn't need to drop 30 or 20. He just needs to be efficient and good at both ends. He can't fall asleep on defense. And he had zero
Yeah.
assists today, but he played 42 minutes, I believe. So something doesn't add up there. If the ball's in his hands, you take 21
Hmm.
shots, but you have zero assists. Like, move the ball. None of them are going to be able to have that gravity towards them. So the thing that beats when the defense doesn't have to settle on one person is ball movement and dribble penetration. And I feel like they had Schroeder doing that, but Kuz was taking contested quick threes or whatever it was. So they're just gotta get that ball moving and really quick. You said Horn Tucker preseason, oh, he's a problem, and you're kind of bashing him a little
Yeah.
bit.
The media.
He's 20 years
I,
old, Kyle. So this is your third guy you're bashing that's
okay. All
young.
right. All
Your
right. All
third
right. You're
guy.
right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I didn't even know he was that young. I mean, well, yeah, I didn't know he was that young. I thought he was a little bit older than that, but yeah, yeah. All right, you got a point. You got a point. He is young, but
Nah.
I was just saying like he was getting hyped up by the media, so I guess
Uh,
whatever, whatever. You right, you
who's
right. I'm
your
drinking a little too
who's
much
your MVP
haterade.
for this game?
MVP for this game, I'll do it to spite you, Danny Green.
Danny Green. That's your MVP.
Yeah, yeah, that's my MVP. If he doesn't step up or if he's not splashing them like that, then uh I see the 76ers have a much harder time in this game.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Tobias Harris. He was I mean, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 for 10, and he was kind of that closer. In the fourth quarter, hit that
Yeah,
fadeaway
yeah.
jumper.
Hmm.
Definitely him. I can't give it to Danny Green, so I'm giving it to anybody else.
I I thought you were giving it to Ben Simmons.
The 7 turnovers, I can't. I mean, 12 assists is nice, but 7 turnovers is a little problem for me. He has to clean that up
Hmm.
a little bit, especially if the ball's going to be in his hands with no Embiid.
Yeah, yeah. He did have some questionable turnovers. Uh, the one thing about the 76ers that I, this is gonna go right back to what you were saying. Oh, I'm bashing the young guys. I'm bashing the young guys. I'm finna talk about Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, he needs to improve his 3-point shot. That's the one thing he needs to do. He's amazing on defense. So I guess I'm not really even bashing him, but uh, if he improves that 3-point shot and he's a good solid 3 and D guy like a PJ Tucker, like like he'll be like crazy valuable to a lot of teams. I mean, he's already super valuable to the 76ers, but you know, like we were just saying, he's super young, so he got time to work on his 3-point shot.
Yeah, he's
So
24. Just that three. I mean,
yeah.
those guys that are on defense that are pretty athletic, that obviously kind of know the game, that struggle with their
Hmm.
shooting. That's a make or break. I mean, obviously with OKC, I don't know if you remember Andre Robertson, uh, kind
Hmm.
of held them back from winning the finals or making it to the finals just because teams would literally leave him open.
Hmm.
Um, so definitely, he's 24. He can learn how to shoot a basketball into a hoop. I
All
hope.
right, real quick, back to what you were saying though. I caught a little comment that you said. You said the Lakers aren't favorite contenders. Were you saying that like with AD and LeBron, they're not title
We
favorites
got to think
or
about it though. Like, how long is LeBron going to be out? They said anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. When is Anthony Davis going to get back? And when they get back, say if they get back a week before the playoffs, will that 1 week allow them to get their legs under them, to get their stroke back? LeBron was killing it from the 3 point line. When he comes back, is his 3 point shot just gone? Because look at CJ. CJ's a shooter. We know he can shoot, and he struggled up until tonight. I mean, he had one good game against the Mavericks, the first game that they won.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I mean, if CJ, I mean, and you got to think LeBron played until October, so he had about 2 months of rest, and then he played.
Yeah, he did have the least amount of rest, but it is LeBron James though. I'm not ever
No,
going down him.
so yeah, I'm not saying they're not favorites. I'm just saying it's about timing. I always thought it was better to get hurt at the beginning of the season and then come back, not get hurt midway and then have a little bit of time to get like, your legs under you for the
Playoff
playoffs. Yeah.
run.
Um,
Uh,
real quick, so the picks today.
it,
Gotta get
oh
through the
yeah, go
picks.
ahead, go
Gotta get
ahead.
through the picks. So for the Trailblazers and Heat, it was the Heat minus 2.5, I
Yeah,
believe, or minus two. I think it was one of the two.
yeah.
And
-2, I
minus
believe.
two. And you and Rich picked the Heat. I picked my guys, Dollar Dame and CJ. Um, I was right.
I you it was this close. Like Dame just needed to miss one free throw, and we would have still been right. But
It's in his genes. He's
and then
clutch.
also I didn't know that Jimmy Butler was gonna be out
Should have
till the
read the
game
injury
started.
report. That sounds like a you issue there.
But
Should
did you know Jimmy Butler was
Even if he
out?
was playing, I would have picked the Trailblazers because I know either way that
Okay,
if
well,
me and Rich tied, I would have won because I had the All-Star break tiebreaker. So technically, Rich
okay.
already lost before. I just wanted to be
Uh,
kind of give him a little bit of hope. Um,
okay.
and then the 76ers Lakers was a 76ers minus 5.5, and we all three picked the 76ers, so we all won
Yeah.
that. I
Mm,
believe our overall records are you are 5-3. I am 5-3. Rich is a Dallas Cowboys .500 4-4. So Rich is from Dallas. I guess he liked it in his genes. I'm a Cowboys fan, but not that big. I like to go over 500. But Rich is not here to defend himself, so I can bash him right now. It's like he just didn't know who to pick. He's like he just wanted to go even every week. I don't know, but he lost.
got
So that was
I
that.
got the timestamp ready for that one.
So that so
Go
that
ahead and clip that.
that was the last one of the month. So technically he lost. So we will be thinking of
Yeah.
something for him to do. If you have any suggestions, DM us on Instagram, on Twitter, comment on the videos, whatever, and let us
Yeah.
know what you think he should do or what he has to do, whatever it is. Um,
Wait, I mean, for punishments, we were thinking kind of like wearing something on the podcast, like maybe for a week or maybe for a month. Richard was saying for the month, but the month is probably too long. But
I
I think for
mean,
a week
I
is
don't mind. I didn't
for
lose,
one
so
week,
I don't
one
gotta deal
episode.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Uh,
right. I didn't lose
yeah, I
either,
didn't
but
lose. I don't care.
I mean, I was thinking of doing like a Luka Sun type thing. You know what I mean? Like when Jalen Brunson had to wear a Luka Sun jersey. You remember that
Yeah,
beginning of the season?
yeah.
I was thinking of something like that, but I don't know how we can make that happen. Well, we'll see.
We
Leave a
it is
suggestion for.
rich, so we should just make him like shave his head or something. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so real quick, since we got a little bit of time, you want to talk about the trades that happened today?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about the trades. Today was the trade deadline. Trades needed to happen by 3 p.m. Eastern time or whatever. And today was low key a crazy day. I was surprised.
I was
Uh,
too. To give a little quick recap for the viewers, or the listeners, whatever they're watching this on or listening to this on.
mhm.
The main trades obviously were the Nuggets. I would say. They receive
Yeah,
Aaron Gordon. They ship out Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, and a future first round pick. So they're in win now mode. They also picked up JaVale McGee. Another
JaVale McGee.
Shaq the Fool King himself. The other big trades were the Celtics got Evan
For Fournier.
Fournier. And they traded away Jeff Teague. So the Celtics for sure won that one because Jeff Teague did not fit
Yeah,
their system.
absolutely.
The Heat picked up Victor Oladipo for Kelly Olynyk, Avery Bradley, and a pick swap. I think that was a win for them. If Victor can get
Absolutely.
to somewhat of what he was in Indiana. The Raptors ended up getting Gary Trent and Rodney Hood, and then
Hmm.
they traded away Norman Powell to the Blazers. And maybe the
And then,
most.
and they
Go ahead.
They were able to keep Kyle Lowry too.
Yeah, they were able to keep him. I mean, he's a free agent this after this year, so I think maybe that's why
Yeah.
they got Gary Trent to have a good
Mm,
replacement. Probably
mm,
not as good as Kyle Lowry, obviously, but someone that could step in
mm.
and fill the his shoes. In my opinion, probably the most impactful trades were the Mavericks getting JJ Redick and Nicola Melli for James Johnson and Wes Iwundu and a second round pick in cash. So those two players who
Oh,
barely play.
oh yeah. Where West Wandu? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
I know who you're
JJ
talking
Redick,
about.
a knockdown shooter. We always say we need shooters. Kind of finally fill
Mm,
that Seth Curry void. And then
mm.
maybe the most impactful we'll see in the playoffs for sure is the Clippers getting Rondo, the Hawks getting Lou Williams and a second round pick.
Bro, you're missing a huge one, bro.
Oh,
The
the
one I
Vucevic
started
one.
out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah. The
Vucevic trade,
Vucevic
bro,
one. That's yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
Chicago. That's a tough pickup. Like,
That's a good trade. Chicago got Vucevic. I believe the Magic got Wendell Carter and
yeah,
somebody
Wendell
else,
Carter
right?
Jr. and yeah, yeah. I forgot the other player. I maybe it was Otto Porter
Yeah, they
Jr.
got Otto Porter. I
Yeah,
think that's a good trade. Because
yeah,
Zach
absolutely.
LaVine actually has some teammates now. I mean, him. That's a solid lineup that they have.
Offensively.
Yeah, that's a solid lineup. But Vucevic is 30 years old, so this contract he's on right now is probably going to be his last, like, to win. And I think they kind of have some pieces to where Zach LaVine can actually stay, and he's not going to want to leave because they have no help or he has no help. But I mean, they got a cornerstone. I don't think it's as impactful as the Nuggets trades today were, or the Celtics, or even the Mavericks or the Clippers trades. Because I think those trades kind of give them above a little leap for that were already somewhat contenders to really throw their hat in the race to being serious contenders.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Like Chicago is like a borderline like not playoff team,
Yeah,
but getting Vucevic like
playoffs.
solidifies them as a playoff team like pretty much for sure. Like their offense just gets like way better. Zach LaVine is going crazy already, and Vucevic is going crazy already. Like them combined, hopefully they're able to work out their offense. I'm sure they will. They got a great coach. Uh, but if they're able to work things out, I believe they're a solid team in the East now, like solid playoff team for sure. Uh, Moving on to the Nuggets, they got Aaron Gordon and JaVale McGee. I'm not sure. I don't fully understand why they got JaVale McGee. I mean, I guess probably for defensive reasons. They need a better rim protector than Jokic because he's not a very good rim protector. He's good at getting steals and deflections, but not really at being a good guy blocking shots at the rim and stuff. Uh, but you don't think Aaron Gordon going to the Nuggets is that impactful? I think it's cool. I
I
think it'll be fun to see what they can do, like with Jamal Murray and Jokic pass it to a cutting Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's gonna be yamming it too.
yeah, I think the trades that the Magic were involved in, were they're kind of iffy. I think the Celtics one with Fournier, I think that was a good trade for the Celtics.
Yeah,
These were all good trades for the Magic because they're trying to get young, rebuild. I know what they're doing.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
the Celtics trades I think was good. I think the Rondo trade and then the Mavericks trade was good. But the Aaron Gordon trade to me, it's like, what are they? Are they getting Aaron Gordon to be like a big three with the Joker and Jamal Murray? So MPJ is not going to be the big guy anymore, Michael Porter Jr. I thought they were just going to give him more minutes because he is a stud. Um, Aaron Gordon, yes, he's good. He's 25. He is obviously can dunk it. We know that. We've seen the dunk contest. Um, Good on defense. He can switch on defense. I think he's good. I don't know if his jump shot is something where he can just be a knockdown shooter consistently. Um, so how are they gonna fit him in that offense? They already have a pick and roll with Jamal Murray and Joker. They have MPJ who can catch and shoot. Where's Aaron Gordon gonna sit in this? Like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna be a big piece in it? Is he gonna be a really important role player? I just don't know what he's gonna be with them.
Yeah, this is where I differ with you on this. I think this is a great piece to pick up, especially on offense and defense. Like he's a great defensive player as well. Probably underrated defensively. Uh, I feel like you're sleeping on his jump shot too. I feel like he could be a good he can shoot it from mid range. I don't know about his three. I haven't looked at his 3-point percentage for last year because he's barely played this year. But I feel like they could always use cutters and finishers around the rim, and Aaron Gordon is one of the best. Uh, I feel like he really helps that team out a lot, and I feel like the Nuggets this season have been pretty like wishy-washy at times. Like they'll beat good teams, and then they'll also lose some questionable games at times. Um, with Aaron Gordon, I feel like they're for sure probably like top five in the West.
Yeah, the Gordon. I mean, he's about a 32% 3-point I think shooter for the career. I think this every year he's improved. So I'm not saying he's a bad
Mm,
shooter, but when you have an offense that's as good as the Nuggets offense already is, and you come there, you're gonna have to give them something that they need. So they need shooters to spot up for that pick and roll with Jamal Murray and Jokic. They need someone who can kind of orchestrate the offense. He can do that, but I don't know if he's gonna be like, is it gonna be a big three with them three now, and Michael Porter Jr. is a role player, or what? Like, how are they gonna balance all that? Who's gonna have the ball in their hands? Because Aaron Gordon likes to have the ball in his hands. He's not just someone who sits in the
mm,
corner and waits for the ball to get to him. So, I we'll see because these coaches they can
yeah,
work with anything nowadays. The more talent, the
mm,
better. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but out of all the trades that we've kind of named, which one do you think is like the most impactful going forward this season?
I mean, I believe the Chicago trade is probably the most impactful. Uh, I guess arguably the Boston trade to get
Yeah,
Evan Fournier.
yeah.
They also traded away Daniel Tice or Tice, which a lot of Boston fans didn't really make sense of. I'm more indifferent. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how all these trades play out.
Yeah.
But the Boston also bolstering their guard spot uh, is really big, especially when Kemba Walker, he's been wishy-washy this season. Like he'll be good sometimes, but then other times, he'll be hurt and he'll just be out and not impactful. Uh,
Well,
so
I'm
I feel like yeah, for Boston, it's a big pickup, and this will help solidify their playoff spot because they've been like teetering on being in the play-in tournament and or not.
um I think the reason that they traded away Dice, whatever his name is because they have
Mm,
Robert Williams. They want to make him the starter, which I love
yeah,
that move.
yeah,
I
yeah. The
think that, yeah,
Time Lord
I
is coming,
think
bro.
Fournier trade for me definitely is some. I mean, this guy's about 20 points a game. So for him to come off your bench, I believe that's what he's gonna do. I don't know if he's gonna start,
Yeah,
because they already have.
yeah. We'll see, we'll see.
We'll see how they're gonna do it. But
I
if
mean,
he's a six man or if he's gonna be up in the starting lineup, whatever it is, I think that's gonna help them. Um, The Rondo trade also to me is really appealing because if he can stay engaged and stay healthy, like they were talking about, he can win you a series because he is like a mini LeBron James. He knows how to read the defense, he knows how to attack you. If you make adjustments, he's already planning on you making those adjustments. He's always a step ahead. He's literally a coach on the
yeah,
court, which I love. And I think the Clippers need that because
yeah,
I think in the playoffs last season we saw when the other teams made runs, made adjustments. Obviously, Doc Rivers is gonna make adjustments, but Paul George was getting rattled. Kawhi Leonard had to do a lot. He was still performing, but he had to do a lot. Um, but Rondo can slow everything down and get everybody back in position and get them in check to say, look, they're doing this, we just do this. So I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's a really good one for them to get. But I really like the Blazers getting Norman Powell. I think that was a really good trade for them. This guy's averaging 20 a game. He's good on defense, and he's a little
mm,
bit bigger size wise, so they can pay Simons and Powell together and not worry about them getting bullied on defense.
mm. Yeah, the thing about the Clippers trade too is like it's just like it's a pretty small change on paper, but the intangibles that Rondo gives you can come up huge come playoff time because really the Clippers they're not they're not a bad team at all. They're already like a really good team, a potential title contenders like they're up there. Uh, when it comes time to compete for a title. But that one piece like Rondo, like you were saying, he can be that guy to help turn things around, strain the ship when they get rattled, like you said. Uh, kind of pick apart the defense. I mean, he was obviously a huge reason back when Boston won their championship and they were going to the finals like against the Lakers. Uh, he was a huge reason why they won then, and so he has that experience like for years now. So he knows what he's doing, and he'll definitely be respected on that Clippers team.
Yeah, and even he was a big piece last year in the bubble.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think he's definitely going to be a good option for them to have. But yeah, trade deadline's over, so officially everybody that has their team, there's gonna be a couple buyout options. I forgot to mention
yeah,
Marcus Aldridge is getting bought out, and then
mm,
Andre Drummond is also getting bought out. So those are two
mhm,
pieces
mhm,
to look out for. And Jabari Parker, I believe, also. Even though he's kind of fell off a little bit, he can still be a good piece off the bench, score some points for you.
mhm,
So we'll see
mhm.
where those people go. But yeah, trade deadline is officially over. No more Woj bombs or shams. It's
Yeah.
those are over.
Uh, uh, rumor has it that the whoops uh that Miami Heat are gonna get LaMarcus Aldridge. I kind of hope that he doesn't go to Miami. I feel like he's better off suited for like a Boston to help spread the floor while also being solid on defense.
Yeah.
Uh, I kind of hope he doesn't go to Miami because I feel like he could clog up the system there. But we'll see what happens. I don't like LaMarcus to Miami, but we'll see.
Another big trade that doesn't seem very big because a lot of people are downplaying it is Victor Oladipo
Mm.
to Miami. To lose,
I know Rich wasn't high on that. I
yeah.
don't know why. We'll have to ask him
Victor
or talk to him on
Oladipo
Twitter or something.
just 2 seasons ago, I believe, was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. He was carrying an Indiana team to the playoffs and almost he took a LeBron James led team to Game 7, made the All Star team. He can take over on offense. He can shoot the ball. He can facilitate. He can play defense. He can do everything. And he's not a liability on defense. I think if he can get back to that, adding to Jimmy Butler, to Kendrick Nunn, to Tyler Hero, to Dragic, to Bam, Iguodala, I think that's a scary lineup if he can get back there.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah,
think a lot of people need to realize if he gets even if he gets to about 80% of what he was, Miami can run the East.
I I think like he's shown flashes of that this season.
Yeah.
Like you said he needs to get back to that. I think he's already there. Like he hasn't had much motivation back in Houston already, but he's had some like really good games while in Houston. But like I said, he hasn't been the most motivated to play in Houston. Like even when he was on the end of his stint in Indiana, he was saying that, oh, like I'm trying to go somewhere else. Like I'm not trying to be here. So, uh, especially when you go to like a team that that struggled as bad as Houston did these past couple weeks, his motivation I'm sure is not really all that high. But now that he's on a playoff contending team and he's in a place where he said that he wants to go to, I'm sure
Yeah,
he'll be huge
I
there.
seen I seen flashes of him physically, but we just don't know where he's at mentally. Same thing with Porzingis. Like you can come back from an injury, you can think you're good, you can make shots, you can do whatever, but in your head, in the back of your head, you can be thinking if I land one wrong time, or I can, whatever it is, if I jump and I come down wrong once, that's all it takes. So I think people could get back physically because most like LeBron's recovery time is 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 weeks, but mentally is a
Mm,
whole different game. You got to get clear mentally before you get back, and that's something that a lot of people have talked about that tore their ACLs, their Achilles. whatever it is, it's mental. It's
Hmm.
more of a mental game than it is physically because you're gonna physically repair, but some people never mentally repair, and that's a big thing. Real quick, did you have anything else to say about trades, the games, the NBA, anything?
Nah, nah. Today was a fun day. It was hard to keep track of while I was at work, but I tried my best.
I was at the dealership and these Woj bombs were coming in like crazy.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Real quick, I got one more thing. Something that really is I wanted to say it on the show last week. I told you before we hopped on I had something to say. Um, I'm gonna say it today. Something that really grinds my gears.
And what is that?
There's so much complaining going on in NBA games now by players. Every time they drive the
Oh
ball,
yeah,
they complain every single time. Every time. Like,
yeah. To
and to take fault,
Damian Lillard was doing it today.
Damon,
I was seeing that.
yes, and to take fault, my favorite players do it. So LeBron does it, Luca does it, Damian Lillard does it, James Harden does it. They all do it.
Carmelo does it.
It's like every time they miss a shot, they look at it. Back then, it was
Uh,
if you drove to the paint, but now even if you shoot a 3 point jump shot, they're looking around for a foul. They always need a little
yeah,
bailout call, and I
yeah.
think when they get to the playoffs, they're gonna have to realize you're not getting these calls.
Hmm.
And
I I I agree with you there, especially like just to call out, like Duncan Robinson was doing it today. I was
yeah,
noticing that. Uh, so many players do it nowadays, and I agree with you. It is pretty irritating, especially like when on calls where it's like the offensive player is shooting a three and they lean into the guy and draw the foul, and then when they don't get the call, like they're looking around like why isn't that a foul and stuff like that. So I feel like the NBA has to do a little bit of rule tweaking where they gotta say like, oh, offensive player can't lean into it and like purpose like initiate the contact with the other guy, or I feel like they also should crack down on refs. Like if a ref makes like a really bad call, they should be fined too. Like refs are immune from like all any and all punishment. So I feel like there should be some accountability to where if they make a really bad call, like they should have some accountability. So it's kind of both ways
yeah,
for me. But yeah, I definitely do agree with you. Players are tripping.
and
They
yeah.
talking they chit chatting
And
too
my
much
thing
with
is,
them
it's
refs.
a bunch of these players that can be easily replaced by the next guy on their team. It's like no, the superstars, I get it. You've been in the league, LeBron, Luca, like I get it. Like you think you were
Hmm.
fouled, cool. But what's worse is when you sit there and you're yelling at a ref who's running back on off the other end because the other team is on offense and it's 5-on-4 and your hands are up and you're just like, bro, it's like, bro, go play
Yeah,
defense.
yeah,
You're literally just five on
yeah,
four,
yeah.
and it's worse when
Trez was
it's
doing it.
yeah, it's worse when it's players that can be replaced because it's like, man, you're gonna get traded today probably, so you need to go play defense. Like that's annoying. And also on the referee point, it kind of tied in because I think it's kind of weird how players can get traded, released, whatever it is, for bad performance, inconsistent performance. But with referees, they have inconsistent performance, they have bad performances. And worst thing to happen is they hop on a press conference after and says, "Yes, we made a mistake." You don't hear,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't hear like today. You didn't hear the guy who fouled Damian Lillard. I think it was Kendrick Nunn say, "Hey, I made a
yeah.
mistake." This dude was in trade
Hmm.
rumors this whole season. So I just think it's
Yeah,
crazy how refs aren't held accountable. But then again, their job is hard. I'm not gonna say I can do their job because their job is tough, and I would make a million more times mistakes than them. Like I would suck at being a referee. So
uh, yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with you. Their job is pretty difficult. Uh, but especially like with some of these technical fouls that have come through, like they kind of hurt the game in a way where it's like especially when a player gets like ejected because of some silly thing, like they threw the ball at the ref, like uh,
yeah,
even
yeah,
like in a slightly disrespectful way, or like they just put it on the ground, or like they rolled it to him, or whatever. When players get ejected because of that, they said it on the halftime show, I believe, for TNT. They were like, where people pay to watch the players, not the refs. So
Yeah. It's just, there's a lot of things you can fix, or you can say, hey, I wish they would do this better, but I think they'll make the right
mhm,
adjustments eventually and they'll get all that fixed.
yeah, hmm
But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. And then I bet you next week I'll
hmm
have something else. But yeah, that really grinds my gears. Like I don't be like the guy from Family Guy or Peter from Family Guy when he had that episode where he said, you know what really grinds my
hmm
gears, and he would go on every week.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, no, there's
yeah,
a lot of stuff that grinds my gears. I just wanted to get this one out because this last week it was
hmm
really bad, and then today when
hmm
Duncan Robinson was doing it, it reminded me of it. So had to
hmm
say, stop complaining, like
yeah,
stop,
yeah, yeah.
because
I'm sure it irritates a lot of coaches too, because I'm sure coaches don't like it
yeah, you're
either.
not getting back on defense, and it's worse. Like if you would do it to like one every couple possessions, okay, cool. But when you do it every possession, it's kind of like they're knowing you're lying now because it's like, bro, you just said last time, now you're doing it again, and you just did it again. It's like, but that's just me. Had to get that off my chest.
Mhm. Yeah, so I believe that'll wrap it up for today. We had a great episode. Went through a lot of things. A lot of stuff went on in the NBA. This episode was a little bit longer than usual. Hopefully y'all don't mind. But that'll end it for us today or tonight. I mean. Like I said earlier in the show, in the beginning of the show, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, interact with us. We'll interact back. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shot Caller Show. Follow us on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Like the videos. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. All that good stuff. You can find our YouTube link in the bio of our Twitter and our Instagram. We're also on everywhere, pretty much everywhere you can find a podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and a lot of other apps that I don't even know the names of. So uh, we're everywhere. You can find us, uh, but definitely hit us up on Twitter and Instagram. We're looking to interact with y'all, have fun with y'all, have discussions with y'all. So that'll end it for us tonight. This is Kyle saying good night. Robin.
Peace, guys. See y'all next week.